Good evening and welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I am Tamir Nimsal. Let's have a look at the headlines. Continue the growth momentum of the economy. IMF urges Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka welcomes nearly 700,000 tourists for the year so far. News in detail. The International Monetary Fund has urged Sri Lanka to preserve the hard-earned gains after an unprecedented economic crisis under the Global Lenders Program. State Finance Minister Shehan Semasinghe made these observations after his meeting with an IMF team who was participating for the IMF and World Bank Spring Meeting. The spring meetings of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group commenced yesterday in Washington, D.C., where discussion would go on issues of global concern, including the world economic outlook, poverty eradication, economic development and aid effectiveness. Sri Lanka's State Minister for Finance, Shehan Semasinghe, believes that fruitful engagements at the sessions will pave the way for unlocking the next tranche of essential funding and a speedy debt resolution. He said this will enhance economic stability, confidence, sustainable growth, restore debt sustainability and ultimately improving the welfare of every Sri Lankan citizen. In March 2024, IMF staff and the Sri Lankan authorities reached staff-level agreement on economic policies to conclude the second review of the 4-year EFF-supported program and the 2024 Article 4 consultation. Once the review is approved by IMF management and completed by the IMF Executive Board, Sri Lanka will have access to about $337 million in financing. If approved, this will be the third tranche that will release to Sri Lanka. The EFF agreement was approved by the IMF Executive Board for a total amount of $3 billion on the 20th of March last year. The Sri Lankan delegation, led by Shehan Semasinghe and represented by Central Bank Governor Nandalal Veerasinghe and Secretary to the Treasury Mahinda Sirivardana, has met Kenji Okumara, the Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, and engaged in discussions. Sri Lanka has welcomed over 50,000 tourists within the first 9 days of this April, contributing to a cumulative figure of 686,321 tourists for the year thus far. In a promising start to April, a total of 50,537 tourists have arrived in the country, signaling a positive trend for the tourism sector, which has gradually recovered from the multiple challenges over the past 5 years. Leading the top tourist traffic are visitors from diverse regions, with Indian tourists topping the list at 9,725 arrivals. Following closely behind are travellers from the UK with 5,878, and the number of Russian tourists was shown as 5,057. In addition, travellers from Germany, France, Australia, China, US, Canada and Netherlands were received. The varied mix of international visitors reflects Sri Lanka's appeal as a sought-after destination among global travellers. As the country aims to revitalize its tourism industry, Sri Lanka has set ambitious targets for 2024. With a goal of welcoming 2.3 million visitors, the country aims to generate an income of over $4 billion from tourism-related activities. The steady increase in tourist arrivals in the early months of 2024 bodes well for the tourism sector's growth and signals renewed confidence among travellers. As Sri Lanka continues to implement measures to ensure the safety and well-being of visitors, the country remains poised to emerge as a premier destination for discerning travellers seeking enriching experiences and memorable adventures. The Secretary General of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multisectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, Ambassador Indramani Pandey, concluded an official visit to Sri Lanka recently. The 5-day visit from April 7 to April 12 aimed at enhancing economic integration in the Indian Ocean region and defining Sri Lanka's role in the process. During his visit, Secretary General Pandey engaged in high-level discussions with key officials, including the Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Aruni Vijayawardena. Additionally, he paid courtesy calls on the President and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, fostering diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and BIMSTEC. Secretary General Pandey also met with senior officials from relevant ministries and agencies to further discuss collaborative measures. Furthermore, Secretary General Pandey participated in an interactive event titled Regional Cooperation through BIMSTEC, organized by the Lakshman Kadirgama Institute on April 9th. Stay tuned. We will return after the short commercial break. Welcome back after the break. Sri Lanka and Kazakhstan concluded their second round of Foreign Office consultations in Astana, Kazakhstan recently. The Sri Lankan delegation was led by Foreign Secretary Aruna Wijewardena for the discussions held with Kazakhstan's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Alibek Bakayev. Both sides prioritized bilateral cooperation in trade, tourism, energy, transport and logistics. Discussions also touched upon the potential for reciprocal visa-free arrangements for normal passport holders following the resumption of direct charter flights by Air Astana to Sri Lanka. Foreign Secretary Wijewardena conveyed Sri Lanka's sympathies for the recent floods in Kazakhstan and highlighted Sri Lanka's initiatives in climate change, including the Tropical Belt Initiative and the Climate Justice Forum. The consultations concluded with plans for the third round in 2025, and Foreign Secretary Wijewardena is expected to hold further meetings with key officials and ministers of Kazakhstan. Officials from the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Bangkok received 8 Sri Lankans who were rescued from the Myanmar area of Myanmar. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs revealed that these individuals will soon be repatriated to Sri Lanka in a press statement released recently. After being rescued by Myanmar authorities, the Sri Lankans were kept under protection in Myawaddy. They were later transported to the Mae Sot area of Thailand and handed over to Thai immigration authorities. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri engaged in discussions with the foreign ministers of Myanmar and Thailand to facilitate the rescue and repatriation of the Sri Lankans, considering the complex security situation in Myanmar. The embassies of Sri Lanka in Bangkok and Yangon, along with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, are coordinating efforts for their repatriation, ensuring all necessary formalities are completed. The Consular Affairs Division of the Ministry, with logistical support from the International Organization for Migration, is facilitating the repatriation process for these Sri Lankans. In a bid to strengthen bilateral ties, the Sri Lanka-Pakistan Business Council, under the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, initiated outreach with officials from the Pakistani High Commission in Sri Lanka. The Council extended this welcome to the newly appointed High Commissioner of Pakistan in Sri Lanka, Major General Fahim Al-Aziz, in Colombo recently. During the meeting, both parties underscored their commitment to fostering economic, tourism and investment prospects between the two nations. Moreover, discussions centered on exploring Buddhist pilgrimage to Pakistan, highlighting untapped opportunities within this realm. In a separate event, an iftar ceremony hosted by the Council, attended by the High Commissioner and esteemed guests, served as a platform for cultural exchange and networking. Stay tuned for stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today.
The all-share price index dropped by 214.04 to close at 11,792.16, and the SNSP SL20 dropped by 94.92 to close at 3,470.25. The turnover was 1.4 billion rupees and over 95 million shares were traded.
Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.